Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we are looking into this new brand called No Labeling,
Oh, yeah.
launching like literally to Valentine's Day 2025.
Now, what a day to launch.
I know, right? What's really got me intrigued is that they're all about this idea of like combining faith and fashion
Wow.
and this whole message of like, no labeling. Right, which
Yeah.
seems kind of counterintuitive for Valentine's Day.
Sure.
So we've got like their mission statement, some background info, a peek at their designs.
Okay.
Let's just get into it and see if this no labeling thing lives up to the hype.
Yeah, you hit on something interesting with that Valentine's Day launch. I think
Yeah.
they're really trying to kind of like reclaim the day.
Yeah.
Shift it away from just romance and into something.
Deeper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deeper, exactly.
All right, so let's back up a bit and start with the basics.
Okay.
What is no labeling? Like, what's the big idea here?
So at their core, they're a Christian-inspired brand,
Okay.
really about promoting love, hope, and kindness
Mhm.
through their clothing and home goods.
Uh-huh.
But here's the twist.
Okay.
The designs are like all rooted in Scripture.
Interesting.
Specifically the verse, "Judge not that you be not judged," from the book of Matthew.
So they're just taking a pretty direct approach then,
Yeah, very direct.
using their products to like make a statement about faith and judgment.
Absolutely.
Okay, but let's be honest here. We all make judgments every day, right?
We do.
Isn't that just part of being human? How do they address that?
They acknowledge that labeling is just like ingrained in us,
Right.
This is automatic sorting mechanism we use to navigate the world.
Makes sense.
But they're challenging us to be aware of those judgments,
Right.
to recognize how they can hold us back.
I see.
And, in their brand overview, they actually give some pretty powerful examples
Oh, really?
of how overcoming initial judgments can actually lead to positive outcomes,
Okay.
even in situations where people initially disliked each other.
Interesting.
Like they've got examples from friendships to romantic relationships, and it's all about that initial judgment and how things blossomed after.
So they're really driving home the point that first impressions aren't always accurate
Right.
and that maybe there's more to people than meets the eye.
Exactly.
Kind of like pushing back against that culture of like snap judgments
Yeah.
we see everywhere online.
Everywhere.
All right, but let's get to the fun part, the clothes.
Okay.
What kind of stuff are they actually selling?
They've got your typical range of clothing,
Mm.
hoodies, T-shirts, jogging pants, that sort of thing. But they also have home goods, too.
Oh, really?
Like mugs, candles, notebooks, even bed covers.
So it's like they want to bring that message of no labeling into like all areas of your life.
Exactly. They want to make it a lifestyle.
Interesting. I'm noticing a theme here. Comfy, cozy stuff.
Yeah.
Almost like they're creating this whole no labeling lifestyle vibe.
Definitely.
Anything about their product line stand out to you in particular?
I'd say their focus on sustainability. Everything is made to order, which helps minimize waste and reduce their environmental impact.
Smart.
They're clearly tapping into that growing demand for ethical and eco-conscious brands.
Okay, so we've got a meaningful message, comfy clothes, responsible production.
Huh?
Sounds like they're making some pretty smart moves here. But let's get into like the design aspect.
Yeah.
How are they visually communicating this whole no labeling idea? What's the aesthetic like?
Well, there's this recurring motif of a lion walking through a tranquil forest.
Okay.
It's often depicted with like a glow or light surrounding it.
Ah,
It's pretty striking, and there's definitely a deeper meaning behind it.
now we're getting to the good stuff. I'm always fascinated by symbolism in fashion.
Me too.
Tell me more about this lion and forest. What's the story there?
So the lion, of course, represents Jesus as the Lion of Judah,
I should have guessed that.
symbolizing strength, protection, divine presence.
Makes sense.
The forest symbolizes the tranquility and renewal found in God's love,
Okay.
and that glow surrounding the lion.
Yeah, that glow.
That represents hope, transformation, and the individual's spiritual journey.
So it's not just a pretty picture. Each element's carefully chosen to tie back to their faith-based message.
Absolutely.
But I'm wondering, is this symbolism going to resonate with a broader audience? Or are they mainly targeting a Christian demographic?
That's a good question. On the one hand, the Christian symbolism is pretty prominent.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the underlying themes, strength, tranquility, hope, transformation,
Uh-huh.
those are pretty universal concepts.
That's true.
It'll be interesting to see how people interpret the designs.
Okay, so we've talked about the message, the products, the symbolism.
Right.
But I want to circle back to that launch date, Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I have a feeling they're aiming for something deeper here than just romantic love. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They're presenting a much broader perspective on love.
Okay.
It's about love for others, life for oneself, and of course, love for God.
So they're challenging the traditional view of Valentine's Day, which, let's be honest, can be
Yeah.
overly commercialized
For
sometimes.
sure.
They're almost like reclaiming the holiday and giving it a deeper meaning.
Exactly.
And that ties back to their mission of no labeling.
It all connects.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when we judge and categorize people, we kind of limit
Yeah.
our capacity for love and understanding.
Yeah, we put them in boxes.
And they're encouraging us to like break free from those limitations.
Right.
And to really see each other with compassion.
It's a powerful message for sure.
It is, especially considering everything going on in the world today.
Absolutely.
But speaking of selling, aren't they running a special offer for the launch?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Tell me about it.
They're doing a 30% discount on all their items from February 14th to 15th.
So just for the 2 days?
Yeah, just the 2 days. And they're calling it their Valentine's Day gift to their customers.
Oh, that's clever.
It is.
So it's more than just a marketing tactic. It's an extension of their whole message of generosity and love. I'm curious, do you think this kind of gesture actually makes a difference in how people perceive a brand?
I think it can.
Really?
By associating their brand with generosity and going beyond just a sale. You know, they're fostering a sense of community and appreciation among those early customers.
Makes sense.
It's like they're saying, we value you and we want to share this with you.
It does make a lot of sense, but it also brings up this bigger question. Can a brand, even one with a strong message like no labeling,
Yeah.
really inspire positive change in the world?
It's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Can clothes and mugs really make a difference?
Right. I mean, we've seen how symbols and messages can influence culture and behavior.
Oh, yeah.
Think about movements like Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
They harness the power of language and imagery
For sure.
to create real change.
Yeah.
So the potential's there, but it's a challenge.
Big time. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think their message has the potential to resonate with people of different faiths, or even those who aren't religious at all?
That is a fascinating question. While the Christian symbolism is definitely central to their brand, the underlying principles, compassion, understanding, rejecting judgment, those are pretty universal.
You're right. Those are values that could appeal to a wide audience.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about no labeling's message of love and acceptance and how they're using design and symbolism to communicate that message.
Right.
But you mentioned sustainability as another key element of their brand.
It's important to them for sure.
What makes their approach so unique?
Well, their entire production model is built around minimizing waste.
Okay.
They've adopted a made-to-order system for all of their products.
Made to order, so they don't have like warehouses full of inventory just waiting to be sold.
Nope. They only produce an item once a customer has placed an order.
Wow, that's a pretty bold move for a fashion brand.
It is, especially one that's just starting out.
It is. It's definitely a different approach. Most brands are all about mass production and instant gratification.
Right.
No labeling seems to be going against the grain here. What are the advantages of this made-to-order model from a sustainability perspective?
Well, the biggest one is that it significantly cuts down on waste.
Makes sense.
With traditional mass production, there's always a risk of unsold inventory
Yeah.
ending up in landfills.
Right.
By producing only what's been ordered, no labeling eliminates that risk entirely.
That makes a lot of sense. But let's be honest, we live in a world of Amazon Prime and 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
Aren't customers going to be impatient having to wait for their no labeling order?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
But I think they're betting on a shift in consumer mindset.
Oh.
People are becoming more aware of the environmental and social costs of fast fashion.
That's true.
They're starting to value quality over quantity, and they're willing to wait a little longer for a product that's made ethically and sustainably.
So it's about changing the way we think about consumption. It's not just about getting what we want when we want it. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values.
Exactly. It's about slowing down that cycle of consumption and considering the long-term impact of our purchases.
And no labeling is positioning itself as a brand that embodies that philosophy.
They are, for sure.
They're encouraging a more mindful approach to shopping. It's refreshing to see a brand taking this kind of stand. But made to order also presents some logistical challenges, right?
Yeah, it does.
How do they ensure efficient production and timely delivery?
That's a good question, and I'm sure they've had to figure out some complexities in setting up their supply chain.
For sure.
It requires a high level of coordination between design, production, and fulfillment.
Yeah.
They might be working with smaller local manufacturers, which could help reduce transportation costs and emissions.
Okay, that makes sense. It sounds like they're really trying to create a transparent and accountable system. Do they provide any information about their manufacturing process or the materials they use?
They haven't gone into great detail on their website yet,
Okay.
but they do emphasize their commitment to ethical sourcing and fair labor practices.
Mm-hmm.
It's likely they'll provide more information about their supply chain as they grow and gain more visibility.
Transparency is becoming so important for consumers who want to make informed choices.
It is.
It's not enough to just say you're sustainable. You got to back it up with concrete actions and information.
Absolutely. Consumers are becoming more savvy, and they're demanding more from the brands they support.
I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored No Labeling's message, their products, their symbolism, their launch strategy, their commitment to sustainability.
There's a lot.
It's a pretty ambitious undertaking for a new brand. What are your final thoughts on their potential for success?
They've definitely positioned themselves in a really unique and intriguing way.
They have.
They've tapped into several key trends: faith-based branding, sustainable production, a message of love and acceptance. Whether they achieve mainstream success or remain a niche brand, they're challenging the status quo and sparking important conversations.
It's certainly a bold move, launching a brand with such a strong message. What stands out to you the most about their approach?
I think it's their authenticity. They're not just saying these values, they're weaving them into every aspect of their brand,
Right.
from their designs to their production methods to their marketing campaigns.
Mhm.
And that kind of sincerity is rare to find these days.
I agree. It feels like they're genuinely trying to make a difference, and that's something I think a lot of people can connect with.
Definitely.
So for our listeners out there, we encourage you to check out No Labeling for yourselves. Explore their website, take a look at their designs, and consider what this brand and its message represent to you. Does it resonate with your values? Does it challenge your assumptions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Ultimately, this deep dive is about giving you the information and different perspectives to form your own informed opinions. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of No Labeling. Until next time, stay curious.
Stay curious. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out,
Yeah.
how they navigate that.
Right.